foremost, I want to say call out Yahweh Bashim Shai, but I just said it's all praises to the Father in the name of the Son. Also want to say Yahweh Bashim Shai Barakatah, meaning the Most High in Christ bless, right? Um, and I'll just want to get right into it without no delay, right? I may get into another video after this directly correlated in correlation with this video, so I might do this video first, and in continuation, I might do a chat GPT video. I was on chat GPT earlier today inquiring about who the real Jews are, man. And I ultimately got chat GPT to admit that the Jewish couldn't be the real Jews of today with fitting biblical prophecy. If that don't come today, it may come tomorrow morning, right before work, for me, right? And if you want to say tomorrow is a Sabbath, that's not what the case is for AGA, right? We partake in the lunar Sabbath, which means that from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, it's not typically your Sabbath that we will follow, right? That's just the ways of the Jewish, man. You guys are following the Jewish Sabbath, man. But without further ado, I'm gonna get right into this, right? Last time in this series, we ended it with who the Lord had us overcome in the land of Abram, or the land promised to our forefathers, right? So now we're gonna go into Genesis 16:1 because this is imperative with the this is important. This is imperative with the doctrine of Abraham establishing a covenant through his seed, right? So is it gonna be through his bond servant or through his wife, man? Bondmaid or through his wife? We're gonna get that understanding in these next few chapters. Hopefully, the chapter that concludes it will be the chapter where we get a little bit more into Isaac and how he proceeded. But without further ado, we're gonna get right into it. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 16, verse 1. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, so we understand that Sarai is Sarah and Abram is Abraham, right? But this is going to give you some understanding by the time we done with this lesson of the name change, and they are the same people, right? And it says Abram's wife would bear him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar, right? So her being Egyptian, right, is imperative too to why her child wasn't selected, right? Because Sarai was of Abram's flesh, of Abram's kin. They were not related, but they had a relation, man. They were of the same people, right? Egyptians come from Ham, Abram comes from Eber, right? So we got to understand that they come from the same people, but the Egyptian maid Hagar was not from the same people, right? So it says, and Sarai said unto Abram, behold, now Yahweh hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid, and it may be that I may obtain children by her. So she was saying, look, I can't have children. Go and have sex with my maid that I may have children through her. So she was saying basically she was barren, man, right? And I'm gonna give you a maid so that we can have children, right? And this is an instance in the Torah where multiple wives is allowed, man, right? And then a wife is allowing a man to take on another woman, man. So we can't actually say that Abraham was wicked for having sex with another woman, man, right? He went into Hagar, right? We got to understand that this is something that the Lord ordained, man, right? And it says, and Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai, right? Because the Lord, he didn't have to have Sarai give him Hagar. The blessing was already going to be established with Sarah, man. So we know that we didn't need Hagar to give children, but the Lord did it for a reason, man. Right, but continuing on, and Sarai took Abram, his wife, Salakia, but Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her handmaid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife. So Sarai gave Hagar to be Abram's wife, man, to be his wife, not to be his concubine, to be his wife, man, right? And he went into Hagar, and she conceived, right? And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. So she didn't like Hagar no more that she now that she had kids, man. Right? She was or was pregnant, man. She did not like that, right? And it says, and Sarai said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. Yahweh judged between me and thee. So look, she said, look, I didn't want that to happen. The Most High judge between me and you, right? And it says, then Abram said unto Sarah, behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee, man. So he was like, look, do what you want to this woman, man. We don't care, right? And it says, and when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. So Sarai beat her ass, man, right? We're going to get that understanding of how, why would it do that, right? It just opened up Genesis 16:6 in a whole nother chapter. But we want to get that dealt hardly. It might be two different words in the Hebrew, but if I'm not mistaken, it's not. So it's dealt hardly with her, and it's just going to be dealt hardly with her is an addition, right? So it says a nah, right, which means afflict, humble, force, exercise, sing, lean off, troubled, weakened, right? To be occupied, right? To be busy with, right? To afflict, oppress, humble, be afflicted, be bowed down, right? To be put down, become low, to be depressed, be downcast, to be afflicted, right? To humble oneself, bow down, to be afflicted, be humbled, to humble, mishandle, right? Afflict, to humble, to be humiliated, to afflict, to humble, to weaken oneself, right? To be afflicted, to be humble, to humble oneself, to be afflicted. Now going here, right, it says to depress literally or figuratively, transitive or intransitive, and various applications as follow: a base self, affliction, self affliction, right? It says answer by mistake for, right, chasten self. So chasten, whom the Lord loveth, he chasten, right? If spared around, or no, that wouldn't be a good instance, right? But deal hardly with, defile, exercise, force, gentleness, humble, hurt, ravish, sing, speak by mistake, submit, self, weaken in any wise. So she literally put the pause on her, man. She afflicted her, man. Right? She dealt chasten her, man. So she dealt hardly with her, man. That's enough. Well, and if you want to say that she just spoke bad words to her, dealing with a woman and speaking bad to her, man, they're emotional, man. But I firmly believe that she beat her tail, man. And continuing on, though, it says, and the angel of Yahweh found her by the fountain in the wilderness, by the fountain, and the way to Shur, right? So the angel of the Lord was talking to Hagar here, man, right? We don't say that that's Sarai. We say that this is Hagar, right? And he said, Hagar, see, Sarai's maid, whence camest thou, and whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. So she said, I fled from her, man. I had to run because she was afflicting me. Was somebody talking bad about you cause you to run away from them? Right, and especially women, right? Emotional creatures that they are. If they start going at the jaws, they ain't getting to the point where they running away. Sarah was putting a pause on Hagar, and Hagar fled, right? And the angel of Yahweh said unto her, return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hands. So he said, look, return to her and go under her hands, man. Right? And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly. So this is going into Hagar, man. He said he's going to multiply her seed exceedingly, man. That's talking about Ishmael, man. Why is Ishmael a great nation, man? Because the Lord promised it to her in this last day. I mean, in this day, man, when He spoke unto Hagar, the angel of the Lord, which will actually be in all actuality Yahweh Shai, right? If you want to say that, man, I believe that this is talking about Yahweh Shai. When we go into Exodus and we the third chapter, if I'm not mistaken, we're gonna prove that the angel of the Lord is Yahweh Shai, but we're not gonna get into that right now. But this is Yahweh Shai telling her that that she will be multiplied exceedingly, right? The Lord Yahweh is gonna multiply her exceedingly. Yahweh told the angel of the Lord to tell her. So the angel of the Lord spoke for Yahweh, man, right? And that's what Yahweh Shai did in these last days. He was the mouthpiece of the Lord, man. So we gotta understand that that's what it is. And the angel of the Lord, verse 11, and the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord have heard thy affliction. Let's see if that same word for affliction is the same thing in the Hebrew, Ainah, right? So that's Ainah, Ainah, Ainah. That's a little bit different. Ainah was afflict, but affliction, poverty, misery, affliction, poverty, right? Trouble, affliction, afflicted, right? Depression, misery, afflicted, trouble. So the Lord has seen her trouble, man, or he has heard her trouble, right? And let's see what Shammai, yeah, that's Shammai. That's listen, hear, hearken, obey, publish, understand, obedient, diligently show, sound, declare, discern, noise, perceive, tell, report it, to listen. I know it wasn't in there for listen, but I knew that listen was for Shammai, right? We know that listen is for Shammai because uh, we know the Hebrew, right? But yeah, listen to is to listen. You got to see this stuff. So the Lord heard her affliction, or the Lord saw her affliction. And they ain't really saying saw, it's saying he heard her trouble, he heard her affliction, he heard her screaming for help, man, all that, man, because she was in trouble, man. She was not getting dealt with lightly. She was getting the pop, 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 make. Sarai was beating Hagar's butt, man. Right? Then and that's only how a black woman would operate, right? Oh, I told you you could sleep with my man and you ended up getting pregnant. Let me put my hands on you. Nah, you about to get your ass beat, right? Because you did this and I couldn't do it. I'm jealous of you, right? That's how black women operate, man. If we don't believe that's how black women operate, man, then you don't believe in the scriptures, man. You can see it face to face how women would do such a things, man. Right? Even if you go into Maury Povich or what's the one show? The People's Court or Divorce Court, man. You be hearing some crazy stories like that where women get mad at their men for situations they put their men in, right? And they be like, "Well, you shouldn't have did it, even though I told you you could," right? That's how women be, especially the ones that are black, man. Not saying that all black women are that way, but this gives the vibes of a black woman, man. She told her she could have her husband, and then she put the hands on her after she got the child, man. Right? But continuing on, and he will be a wild man. So Ishmael is a wild man, right? And his hands will be against every man, and every man hands against him. So you see him in the Middle East fighting against everybody, man. Esau going in there, man, right? And other nations going against him, man, right? And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. So he is dwelling right now where we supposed to be. Ishmael has our land, man. Well, not will have our land, but they have the surrounding areas, man, and parts of our land as well, man. So and then this could go into how they in the presence of Esau right now in the Middle East too, man. Right, and we know that the Middle East is Africa, but that for contextual purposes only, we're gonna refer to it as the Middle East, man. They dwelling with Israel, not Israel, but Esau in the presence of them, man. Right, and she called the name of Yahweh that spake unto her, Thou God seest me, for she said, How have I also here looked after him that seeth me? So she said, Was I looking for you? Right? And he said, Wherefore the well was called Beer Lahorai, right? Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered, right? And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his name, which Hagar bare Ishmael, right? And Abram was 4 score and 6 years old. So if I'm not mistaken, what's a score? I think that's 20 years. What's a score? So 20. Score is 20. So he was 86 years old when he had Ishmael, right? Remember that, right? Because it was 86 years old, right? The Lord gave him a child in his old age, man, right? And it says, behold, and when Abram was 90 years old, so 86 years old, and then 4 years later, man, when he was 90, oh no, actually, he was 86 years old. And then this goes to 89. So this is 13 years old later, right? 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am Almighty Elohim, walk before me and be thou perfect. So I wanted to see in the Hebrew what Almighty is, right? Shaddai. So they would say Yahweh Shaddai or Shaddai. Um, Yahweh Almighty, right? And that's actually not Allahayim. See, every instance of God in the Hebrew is not Allahayim. So this is the Allahayim would be the plural sense. This is the singular sense of the Most High God, or the singular sense of God, man. Right, let's actually go into another tab to open that up because I want to see it. So it's all, or some people might say Allah, like we hear the Muslim God named Allah. That's just another mere title, right? It's not that's ayal. So that's actually not what we use, but it's a title for God. God, power, mighty, goodly, great. Idols is not a good title for that, but that the gods of the nation are idols. That might be where it comes from, right? Emmanuel, right? Mighty, strong, right? God, like one, mighty men, men of rank, mighty heroes, angels, God, false God, demons, imagination, God, the true God, Jehovah, mighty things in nature, strength, power. So this title for Allah means all these things, man. It could be an idol. It could be the Most High God. It could be a powerful person, man. But it's a singular sense, man. So when we see this Allah, right? Shaddai Allah, right? Let's actually see. It might be Allah Shaddai in the Hebrew, right? So let's go here. Let's see. Shana, right? Shanayim. Right, hold on. Let's see Shanayim. Where is Shanayim? Shanayim. Right here, Old Ban. So Shanayim, Yahweh, Al, Abba, Ram. I'm just looking for Shaddai, Shaddai, Al Shaddai. So you see here it says Anai, Anayal, Shaddai. So it actually, let's see, Yahweh, right? Ra'ah, Allah, right? Abram, Amar, Allah, Anai, Shaddai. So we've seen Shaddai is actually it comes after Allah. So let's actually look at that Shaddai again. Shaddai, right? Shaddai, right? Al Shaddai. It's no Al after that, right? And just to confirm, right? Let's see Shaddai one more time. Shaddai, right? So it's God Almighty, right? It's not the Almighty God, but it's just for how we just say it. It ain't wrong to say the Almighty God because this is English. That's how it's formulated in sentence, but it's actually in the Hebrew, God Almighty. So it says, I am the Almighty God, walk before me and be thou perfect. So he didn't have the instructions of how to be perfect during this time, man. But the Lord told Abram to be perfect, right? So let's see here, right? Okay, so let's see here, man, right? This is what we see in Psalm 19 and 7. It says, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise and simple, right? The statutes of the Lord are right, it rejoices in the heart, and the commandment of Yahweh is pure, enlightening the eyes. So the Lord told him to be perfect or keep the charge of him, man, right? And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and I will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations, right? Neither shall thou name be any more called Abram. So this is when the Lord changed his name, right? The next chapter, right? It says, but thy name shall be Abraham, right? For the father of many nations have I made thee, right? And let's just go into Abaram. That's Abaram, exalted father. So now, if we go to Abraham, Abraham, it's not Abraham, it's Abraham, right? It says the father of a multitude, chief of a multitude. So if he's the exalted father, right, as Abram, so he would still be the exalted or the chief of a multitude, or the chief father of a multitude, right? Friend of God and founder of the Hebrew nation via God's elected covenant. So it says that he's the founder of the Hebrew nation via God's elective covenant. So only the covenant is out of Abraham, man. Right? We went into that the other day. We should see that, man. Right? In Romans 9. Right? And that might not even been something I went into. I might even went on to I might have went into that on Twitter, but that's neither here nor there. It's still imperative to what we going into. So continuing on, it says verse 6, and it says, and I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And it says, and I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. So this is the Lord establishing a covenant, right, between him and them, him and the Most High, man. And it says, and I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger. So he's saying, right here where you at, right, I'm going to give you this land, right? That's what I'm giving unto you, right? And the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. It's saying he will be their God because he's going to be what? Our God, or the people who are in the covenant, right? And it says, and God said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore thou and thy seed after thee in their generation. So it says we got to keep the covenant, which are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Now, this here, it ain't just only applicable to the Israelites, man. In the end, right now, and going into the new covenant, that is only for the children of Israel. But the Lord is going to spread his grace upon all children, right? All nations, because all nations will keep the covenant, or keep the laws of God in the kingdom, man. If any nation don't serve the Lord in the kingdom, they're going to be destroyed, right? So we can't say that this is only for the Israelites, but during the present time and the times to come, leading up into the kingdom, this is only for the children of Israel, man, right? And it's going into the kingdom, and it says, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee and their generations, this is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised. So the Lord said, every man, this is the covenant that the Lord established, right? He said, keep this. Every man got to be circumcised, right? Every child, right? And it says, and ye shall circumcise the first flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you, right? And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man that in your generations, he that is born with a house or with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed. So it says, even the strangers. So when people want to go into what is it, Galatians, about how the circumcision was for the how Paul was preaching circumcision to the Gentiles, man. That was actually supposed to be done with people dealing with us, man. If they was dwelling amongst us, they was circumcised, man. So that it ain't saying that we just because they could be circumcised, and Paul was teaching, and he wasn't teaching to the Gentiles. But if we going under the assumption that Paul was teaching other nations, man, that wouldn't be saying that they get the covenant, man. That wouldn't be saying that they get salvation, I should say, man. But that was for Israel anyway. He was talking to the children of Israel, man. Right? And then he said, hold on, I'm gonna get it. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, Salaki. I'm just looking for this tab. I wanted okay, so it's actually another precept that I'm looking for too. We're gonna get it though. This is Romans chapter 3, verse 2. It says, hold on. I actually gotta get Romans 3 in general. Let's just get Romans 3. I want that blue letter, right? Romans 3. I don't even think it's Romans 3. right? Actually, it is Romans 3, verse 1. It says, what advantage have the Jew, or what profit is there of circumcision, right? Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of the Most High. So when we see that, man, right, we see that the oracles of the Most High was given unto the children of Israel, or the Jews, man, right? Okay, I was looking for it in Galatians, but I'm not sure where it's at in Galatians, so I'm not gonna go into it. But the oracles of God was given to the children of Israel, right? So that means if you partook in a circumcision on the eighth day, much every way it's beneficial to do that, man, because you following the laws of God. It can't hurt you to keep the laws of God, man. That's what he's saying, man. Right? But now if you whatever age, right? Paul was saying, if you this age, that age, or whatever, you already missed the mark by not being circumcised on that eighth day, man. So what profit is it to you, man? That's why Paul was saying that. He wasn't saying the laws are done away. He was rather saying that, look, man, it's already passed. You missed it, right? You got to just pray that the Lord have forgiveness on you, right? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this Acts 17, verse 30, it says, in the times of this ignorance, God winked at, but now commandeth all men everywhere to repent, man. Right? So the Lord commandeth all men everywhere now to repent, even though we didn't get it right at first, it's time to get right, right? And it's continuing on, right? And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after you. Okay, so it's a lot here, right? Verse 11, and it says, and ye shall circumcise your flesh or your foreskin, and it shall be a token of a covenant betwixt me and you. So now this could say that even though you don't know that you, even though you didn't know that you was supposed to be circumcised, right? You should be trying to get circumcised after you get the knowledge, man. Because when Abraham learned this, right, he was what, 96, 97, 98 years old, or whatever the case is. He might have been younger, right? But the case is he circumcised himself well after 8 day, man. Well after the 8th day. If you're not uncircumcised, man, the the rule is, the law is that you're gonna be cut off of the children of Israel, man. Right? Hold on. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna look for it out of Leviticus. If I'm not mistaken, it's in Leviticus. I should know where it's at though. So here we're gonna go. Let's read this full chapter. Let's go. So this Leviticus 12 and verse 3, right? It says, "And in the eighth day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised." Right? I actually just shared this to woman on Twitter, man. That should have been. I didn't actually get it because of the circumcision. I got it because of the process of uncleanliness for the women, and that's the spirit, man. That I was even on there. Let me get that right. We not getting too deep into it, right? I'm just showing you, right? And I don't deal with none of the children of Israel any type of harmful way. I try and lead all my people to righteousness, man. Even if they call on the name Yahuwah, it don't matter, right? You can see there she calls on the name of Yahuwah. We're not judging her for it. We are here to enlighten, right? So it's this popular story on going through Facebook world and Twitter, I guess, right? Where a woman got pregnant, right? Within the 4 weeks after postpartum, right? The law says that we gotta wait to have sex with our women, man, right? They are unclean during this period, right? And she said, "Y'all got too much to say on a woman or her man getting pregnant. Y'all please shut the fuck with this, right? That this lame ass, right?" So I almost cussed, but I didn't, man. I caught myself, right? I said, "Since according to the Bible, a woman is supposed to have a period of separation where she's not supposed to live with her husband until her cleansing is complete." he should have waited a few more weeks. And then he said, biblical, a woman is considered unclean while she bleeds, question mark, anyone she touches becomes unclean. And then I said, right, meaning a man should wait his time for the woman to properly heal. Do you believe a man can have sex with his wife during this time? If so, then I'll digress. Because, hey, man, it ain't technically saying you can't do it, right? But a man shouldn't be doing it, right? You should avoid all manner of uncleanliness, right? And I was simply pointing out that the Lord ordained what the out that the Lord ordained for a reason. I meant to say what the Lord ordained for a reason, but she said she don't do that. So then I gave her what Leviticus 12, and then I left it at that. Which she said, "Thanks for sharing it." Right? We don't got to get more into that, man. Right? Because now we see in Leviticus 12, right? 12, we see that they got to be circumcised. We see the process of purifying, so on and so forth, right? But this was the covenant that the Lord gave it to Abram, but then Israel was given it for a law, right? Written down as laws where we have to circumcise our children on the 8th day. So this is for the children of Israel and for the stranger, right? They should be circumcised within our gates as well, right? No man that isn't circumcised can partake in the Passover, like the scripture says, man, right? So continuing on, right? um, Okay, ye shall circumcise the flesh between. Verse 12 it says that, and he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generation. He that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger, which is not thy seed. So this is when the Lord commanded us to circumcise our children on the 8th day, right? And but we well, it ain't no but about it, right? It is what it is. He that is born in thy house and he that is born with bought with thy money needs be circumcised. So everybody, even the servants, get circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. So this is an everlasting covenant. That's why it was given to the children of Israel in Leviticus 12:3, man, because it was meant for us, man. Right? It's the everlasting covenant, man. And it says, in the uncircumcised man, whose flesh or of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He didn't say from your people, he said from his people, because who is this for? The children of Israel, man. It ain't for everybody. That's who it was. That was our covenant that he made with us, man. Right? And to further this, man, you could say that this covenant was made with the strangers that dwelt with us too, because the strangers that's in our land is supposed to get circumcised too. This is how all nations can partake in the covenant, man. Right? They already do in a sense anyway, because circumcision is common throughout the four corners of the earth, man. Right? They already partake in it mostly, man. So therefore, when we do this, man, it's a law. It's a law. Is they partaking in our covenant? Yes, man. Right? They preparing us. They stuff for the wait, man. Because eventually we gonna make all men have to be circumcised that dwell with us, man. Any man that serve not the Lord shall see their destruction, man. Right? So continuing on, and it says, and God said unto Abraham, right? As for Sarai, thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. I ain't gotta say Sarai no more, because that's a tough name to say right there for me. But bless her and give thee a son also of her. So the Lord said, look, I'm gonna bless her. I'm gonna give you a son with her, man. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. So he said, look, the blessing is coming through her. It ain't coming through Hagar. Hagar shall be a multitude of nations, man. Right? But Sarah, she's gonna be the mother of nations, man. All right, let's get that. Actually, it's 15. You want to get that word for Sarah in the Hebrew, right? Shara, right? Noble woman. That's what Shara means, noble woman, right? So she's a noble woman, right? Right. That's very easy to understand, man. Right? Um, So honestly, when we see like names like Tashara, that's I don't know what the word ta or the Hebrew prefix ta is, but either way, man, it's still going off of Shara, right? So Tashara, that's a Hebrew name right there, man. Tashara. That couldn't be more Hebrew than that, man. Right? And continuing on though, it says okay. Yeah, okay. So it says then Abraham fell on his face and laughed and said in his heart. So Abraham fell down and laughed, man. When the Lord told him, look, man, your wife gonna give you a child, man. He laughed because he was in disbelief, man. Right, and then and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? So he said, look, I'm 100 years old. How am I have a child, man? Right, but men can always have children, no matter what the age, right? And shall Sarah, that is 90 years old, bear? So she's 90. That is more uncommon than Abraham, right? Abraham was more believable, but Sarah, that's where it's like, oh man, I don't know, man, she old, man, right? But and Abraham said unto God, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee, right? He said, look, Ishmael is here, man. Let's give it to him, right? And God said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a seed indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. Right. So the Lord told him, look, Sarah having a child and his name gonna be Isaac. It ain't no way you could get around this, man. And it says, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant and with his seed after him. He didn't say with his seeds. He said with his seed, meaning one of them. Because what did Isaac have? We're going to get to that eventually. But right now, we just understanding that this is not for everybody, man. It was not for, even though the covenant was established with Abraham, it went on to Isaac. We see that it's only for Isaac, even before Isaac was born, right? And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee, behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly, right? So the Lord said, look, I got you though. Ishmael ain't gonna miss out too much, right? He gonna be fruitful, man. And you see that these Arabs, right? Let's just go to your local corner store, right? That the Arabs own, man, right? Um, my corner store right around the corner from me, right? You have the father, right? This dude has the shop, right? Then he got his two sons working this shop afterwards, man. And then um none of his women come into the stores or nothing like that, but sometimes you'll see that they come to the stores from Sam's Club with they 3 vehicles, man, and all the children, women, all this stuff, man, bringing in goods into the store, man. Right? I even seen one of his sons that work in a store at my job one time. I'm not gonna try and disclose too much information, right? But he was at my job one time and he came along with his brothers and sisters, man. These dudes came with like 4 or 5 people, man. Nobody that I ever seen, and they was all related, man. Right? This was due to be Ishmael being what does it say, right? Ishmael, right? He's making them fruitful and he is multiplying them exceedingly, man. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. Even if you look at well, me being the man that was so in love with heathen as a youth, right? As a youth, I used to love the heathen, man. The Ishmaelites, the Edomites, man, the Moabites, the Ammonites. It didn't matter, man. Right? I used to find favor more in them than I did in my own kind, right? Not anymore. But this was how it used to be, right? So being friends and trying to fit in with them, right? I would see how big some of these families are, right? When they would travel from Pakistan or travel from India, man. India is them Elamites, right? They got a big family too most of the time. But Ishmaelites, more so speaking, when you see them, man, and you see how this person related to this person and this person related to that person and these people are related, and then in your whole city every Pakistani, right, is related to each other, right? These people, they as Ishmael, right? Are blessed exceedingly, man, because they have a lot of children, man. Not anything other than that, right? Because it says, "But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year." So he said, "Look, y'all about to get busy, and by this time next year, she gonna have a child." Simple as that. And the Lord just said it, man. He ain't take no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He was like, look, she gonna have a child by this time next year, man. And he left off talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. So like God was like, look, I'm done talking to you. Let's go. I'm out of here, right? So that's easy to be understood, right? And it says, and Abraham took Ishmael his son and all that were born in his house. So if the everlasting covenant was established with Isaac, this was a covenant established with hold on, wait, where was it? Hold on. So this was a covenant that was established with Abram, right? And he took his son Ishmael and all that were born in his house and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of the foreskin the self same day as God had said unto him. So he circumcised Ishmael, man. Ishmael was able to partake in that part of the covenant, man. And he was able to be fruitful and multiply, man, because that's what's his blessings, man. So we see it, man. It ain't hard to be understood. Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh, right? And this is another thing that we need to understand. He was 99, but he said, right, where was he at? Where was it at? He says, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? Right? And this was before. Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? But conception, right? Hold on, wait. Let me see that 100 years old. Okay, so it does say born, right? But was it established that by this time next year? So it wasn't established with him that he will have a child within the next year yet, right? So he was saying, look, I'm gonna have a child. I'm 100 years old, and he was 99. So was he lying? No, he was just being how we move, man. Right? I say I'm 33, I'm 32, right? The Bible, the birthday that they gave me, man, I don't believe in it, right? I don't celebrate the birthday. So when January 1st, day year come around, that's when I start calling myself a new year, man. I say I'm 33, right? Is that wrong? Is that right? It's rather here nor there, right? Because in this year, I'm gonna be turning 33 at some point, but I don't acknowledge that day, man. So therefore, I just say, okay, yeah, I'm being 33 years old, so on and so forth. I talk like that all the time, man. It's a common conception that we understand, man, right? So it says in Abraham, so uh, self same day, and God said unto him, and Abram was 90 and 9 years old when he circumcised the flesh of his foreskin. Ishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcising the flesh of his foreskin. So 13 years later, right? That's when the Lord was about to have Isaac, right? But we could see that Ishmael was 13 years old because it says that in the self same day, Abram was circumcising Ishmael his son, and all the men of his house born in the house and brought with money of the stranger, right, were circumcised with him. So that's it on this right here, man. We're gonna continue on. I'm gonna try and get all the way to Genesis 20. One of these chapters, if I'm not mistaken, it might be 19 or it might be 20. It's very long. This ain't as long as I think, but if I'm not mistaken, one of these chapters is going to begin in the lengthier side, so we're going to have to pay attention. Get ready to end it after that. So it says this Genesis 18 verse 1, and the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent in the heat of the day, and he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground and said, my Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree, and I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on, for therefore are ye to come to your servant. And they said, so do, and thou hast said, as thou hast said. And Abram hastened into the tent unto Sarah and said, make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal kneaded, and make cakes upon the earth, right? And Abraham ran into the earth and fetched a calf tender, right, and good, and gave it unto the young man, right? And he hasted to dress it, and he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed, and set it up before him, and he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat, right? I'm not sure if the meat was mentioned of us eating, but this shows that we was eating meat afterwards, man. He took the butter and milk, and then he basically made the food, man, right? And they said unto him, where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, behold, in the tent. right? And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah, thy wife, shall have a son. So he was like, yo, she gonna have a son when I come back. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. And now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. So it was no longer that she was able to bear children. That's what it's saying, right? Um, Usually in an older age, women can't have children. That's what that's saying, man, right? And it says, therefore, Sarah laughed within herself, saying, so she ain't laugh out loud, but she was like, like she was like kind of laughing inside, like, oh man, this can't happen, right? I would never be pregnant. Like she was denying it, right? And after I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord, being old also? And Yahweh said unto Abraham, wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I of a surety bear a child which am old? So he said, why is she laughing? Abraham laughed, right? And he even went to the Lord and questioned him. But Sarah, when she laughed within herself, and the Lord was like, why is she laughing, right? But is anything too hard for the Lord? So he's like, well, look, is anything too hard for the Lord, right? At the time of appointed, I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. And Sarah denied, because she denied it, man. Abraham just asked, but Sarah was like, it's not possible, man. I'm old as heck, right? And Sarah denied it, saying, I have laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, nay, but thou didst laugh. So the Lord was like, look, don't tell me you're not laughing. I seen you laugh, right? And she laughed within herself. Like she ain't even make it loud or nothing, man. How black women typically do, and the Lord still was on her ass, man. Right? And then it says, and the men rose up from thence and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And the Lord and Yahweh said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. So look, the Lord was like, look, all the nations of the earth is going to be blessed in him. That's going into the covenant, how all the nations going to come and be able to serve at the holy mountain through Israel, man, right? Because Israel going to establish the order, man. That's what that's going into. That's not talking about all nations going to be saved and through at Abraham, man. That's saying they're going to be blessed, right? Ishmael got a blessing, right? Can't say Canaan got a blessing, but a lot of people were getting these blessings, man. Right? We're gonna see as we go down in the scripture, we're gonna see more people get blessings, man, like Esau and Jacob, man. Right? We're getting closer and closer to that point. So we're gonna maybe in the next couple videos, man, we're gonna start seeing our forefather, man, which is Jacob, man. We seeing our forefather Abraham, man. Ishmael is not our forefather. And Esau is not our forefather, right? It goes from Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or Noah, Eber, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those are the four patriarchs, though, goes to Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Those are the four patriarchs for us. We got to understand those are the most important prominent figures, because the Lord with Noah, he established a covenant that he wasn't going to flood the earth no more. With Abraham, he established the covenant that we're looking at right now, man. Well, Isaac, he continued the covenant with Isaac, and then he made it known that his covenant was with Jacob, and he established more of the covenant with Jacob, man. So we see here, man, not all nations is receiving of the covenant, but they are receiving blessings in him, right, through his seed, man, right. But continuing on, for I know that he will command his children and his household after him, that he shall keep the way of the Lord. Who told their children in the house after them to keep the way of the Lord? Isaac did. Isaac even was like, look, take a daughter of your kin. And what did Esau do, man? He went and got a Canaanite wife. He went and got a wife of Ishmael, right? He went and got this and that, man. But the Lord wanted us to get daughters of our kin, man, right? So like you, even when you go into Tobit, right? Tobit 4, if I'm not mistaken, chiefly take a daughter of your own kin, man, right? We not ordained or commanded to take somebody of our own kin. If you want to deal with the heathens, man, go ahead. But the Lord will prefer us deal with our own nation, man. Yeah, you could take a Edomite. Yeah, you could take an Ishmaelite. Yeah, you could take a Moabite. Yeah, you could take don't want to say Canaan. I'm not too sure about them. But yeah, you could take an Ammonite, right? You could take the Japhites, right? It's a lot of Japhites we could take, right? So you got to go with according to what the scriptures say, man. We could take these people, right? But the Lord wanted us to deal with our own, right? To do justice and judgment. So when I say that the Israelites are going to judge the earth, man, that's what's going to happen. Justice and judgment when the Israelites take rule, right? Give me 1 second. Let's go here. I've been getting a good setup with these scriptures, man. So this is Proverbs 29. Let's make sure nobody, all right, we good. Ain't nobody watching this thing. So let's share this tab, man. Proverbs 29 and 2, right? It says, when the righteous are in authority, right? So when we bear rule, when we, what it say? What it say? It says, he said, they shall keep the way of Yahweh and do justice and judgment. So it says, when the righteous are in authority. So when you righteous, what are you doing? Following the ways of the Lord. And it's taught to us, right? So it says, when we in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn, man. So we got to understand, man, the other people running the world right now are not righteous, man. They wicked. That's why the earth is full of mourning, man. Right, and it says, and that Yahweh may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of him. So he said, look, the Lord going to bring it upon Abraham through your seed, so that which was spoken of you can be fulfilled, man. Right, and okay, I'm trying to make sure I don't lose my point right here. 18 and 20, Genesis 18 and 20. And Yahweh said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of this. So look, Sodom and Gomorrah, we getting into that, man. The Lord was like, look, man, they getting loud down there, man. It's actually getting kind of troubling, man. Let me go check this out, man. The Lord was dealing with Abraham this whole time, and Sodom and Gomorrah was wicked, man. We seen a few chapters back in the last video how Sodom was mentioned, man. But now the Lord was like, look, the cry of it is coming down all together, man, and it's great, man. Right? Let me go check it out, man. And this is verse 22. It says, and the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before Yahweh. Now, this is why I made the assumption in the last video that Abraham and Lot were beefing. And that's why Abraham didn't go to get Lot from Sodom, right? But that wasn't the case, because Abraham went and got Lot from the hand of the Canaanites or whoever it was, right? I'm not sure if it was the Canaanites. Forgive me if I'm misquoting that. But when he went into servitude, Abraham showed his face and he was like, "Look, let my boy go, give him up," right? So this Lord was letting us know, man. Well, no, so when I said that point, man, it actually was void, man. It didn't stick, man. There is no expletive reasoning as to why Abraham stood yet before Yahweh, right? It's just not there, right? But we gotta continue on, right? And it says, and Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? So Abraham was inquiring about the righteous that are dwelling within the wicked, right? Now this is foreshadowing, right? Because so like I feel like I'm fairly gassy, man. I gotta get some water or something, man. But it's always like this when I'm sitting in this chair after work, man. I get very gassy, and the spirit make me feel like I gotta stop and go into the restroom or something like that, man. It's just Satan trying to get me to slow up the word, right? But rather continuing on, right? This is foreshadowing the end times, man. The righteous with the wicked, that's foreshadowing of what's coming to pass, right? Because the Lord will not destroy the righteous of Israel, right? Let me go to it kind of gotta go there, man. Gotta go there, right? Let's go to Romans 9. Oh, they don't want to give me that, so let's put an S at the end of Romans. Can't get into Romans 9 on Bible Gateway unless you put an S there, man. Right? It's a damn shame, right? So we're gonna start at verse 7. This is actually going into what we know, man, right? It says Romans 9 and 7, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. So the seed is called in Isaac, right? And it says that is, which are the children of the flesh. These are not the children of God, because the children of the flesh fulfill the lust of the flesh. But the children of the promise is what? Given to Israel, are counted for the seed, right? And for this is the word of promise, at this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son, right? So this is what we're going into, right? And not only this, but when Rebecca also have conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, right? It says, for the children being not yet born, neither have done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. It was said unto her, the elder should serve the younger, as it is written, Jacob I have loved, but Esau I have hated. I'm getting all this, man, because it's going in context with what I need, man. We gonna get into this. It's not where we at, man, but this is where we're gonna get into in Genesis 29, if I'm not mistaken. That's coming soon, man. But we just had to read it, right? Continuing on, though, it says, what shall we say? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid, for he said unto Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So I read all that to get this in Romans 9, that he's gonna have compassion against who we have compassion against, right? And he's gonna destroy basically who you want to, huh? Right? So he's asking, is he going to destroy the righteous with the wicked? Right? So this is a foreshadowing of the righteous is going to be saved out of this place, but the Lord ain't going to save. The Lord is going to save the righteous of Israel, not the righteous of all nations, man. Because all nations cannot be righteous, right? The law was given to Israel, right? So only Israel can technically be seen as righteous in the scriptures, man. Right? No other people can be seen as righteous because they weren't given the law, man. Right? They could keep a law which is law unto them, right? Which might be identifiable to the scriptures, but the law wasn't given to the other nations. If the other nations choose to keep the commandments of God in America, man, it's not a determining factor that they will be saved out of this place, right? America gonna be destroyed with thermonuclear fire. We're not gonna be able to get these heathen out of here. The Lord is worried about Israel in this place, man. That's why we don't teach to the heathen, man. We don't go into the way of the Gentile, but we go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, man. They need the message most, because then when we take rulership, then we rule and we guide all the nations in righteousness, man. Right? In this place, when we got the laws of God, man, you're telling us to keep a Saturday Sabbath, which I believe is false, right? If you don't, that's fine. But telling us to keep a Saturday Sabbath, man, y'all doing your own thing, man. Y'all not doing the ways of God, man. But if you want to keep the Friday, Saturday, Sabbath, if you want to keep the Friday, Friday, sundown Sabbath, that's fine. But it's got to be something that we understand, that why is it Friday, Saturday, right? Why can't it be Monday, Tuesday? Why can't it be Wednesday, Thursday? What made it the determining factor that the week depended on Friday, Saturday, right? It wasn't. We didn't even deal with Friday or Saturday in the Bible, right? You have some version of the Bible that says Saturday, but there is no Hebrew translation or Greek translation for Saturday, right? So we're gonna understand that it's not Friday, sundown, Saturday, sundown. You can partake in it that way, but it ain't necessarily what the Lord said it was, right? Continue keeping on, right? So this is foreshadowing of the kingdom, right? Because it's also talking about how the Lord going to destroy the king of Sodom, right? Which is now Sodom, right? And not this Sodom of old, right? Because it's going to tell us how the Lord destroyed them, right? But it says, peradventure, there will be 50 righteous within the city, wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for 50 righteous that are therein. He goes in, man. He's asking the Lord for a lot, man. He's saying, look, if it's only 50, are you going to save them 50 people, or are you going to destroy the righteous with the wicked? So he says you're going to not spare the place for 50 righteous. So if it's 50 righteous people in here, you're going to destroy it. And the Lord knew. So the Lord entertained him, man. And Abraham, he was a friend of God, man. Right? That's why Abraham was able to talk to the Lord. He talked to, man. He was able to question and so on and so forth, man. What the Lord says is what the Lord says, but the Lord seen Abraham as a friend, so he was able to say, look, would you do this if it was this? Or what about this? Or what about that? Because even with Sarah, man, he laughed and he was like, she old. How's she gonna have a child? And he was like, look, I know she old, but this was gonna happen, man. In a year, she gonna have a child, and that's what happened, man. Right? And it says, so we continuing on, right? Verse 25, it says that be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked that be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? So it says, look, the judges of the earth is going to do right. So why would you destroy the righteous with the wicked, right? If they supposed to judge the earth, right? And Yahweh said, if I find inside of 50 righteous, because Abraham wasn't going to look at, the Lord sent his angels. We know this, but we're going to get there, right? So it says, and Yahweh said, if I find inside of 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sake. So he said, look, all right, I'll take you up on that offer, right? And Abraham answered and said, behold, now I have taken up on me to speak unto the Lord, which am but dust and ashes. He's like, look, I'm only dust and ashes. I ain't nothing, right? And he said, peradventure, right? But there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous, wilt thou destroy all the city for a lack of 5? So he said, look, let's say we got 5 less than 50. Well, you gonna destroy them if it ain't exactly 50, right? And he said, if I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it. So he's, look, all right, 45. Right? And he said, and he spake unto him again, yet again, and said, peradventure, but there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake. Let's actually get peradventure, because I don't want to keep on adding to that. Right? I know peradventure could be but I'm not gonna run with it. It's I will lie. 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 So if so be, maybe, peradventure, unless. So it's maybe if we find this, maybe if we find that. So it ain't but rather maybe. So it kind of go hand in hand with what I was saying, but we got to understand, right? He said unto him, oh, let not the Lord be angry, I will speak, right? And so he said, don't be mad at me if I say something else, right? And then he was like, peradventure, there shall be 30 found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. So he went from 40 to 30, right? He was like, look, it might not even be 30, might not even be 40. You're right, Lord. Let me check this one, right? Check me out. Hold on, right? And then he was like, and he said, oh, let not the Lord be angry. So he's like, look, Lord, don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me, right? But he said, I will speak yet, but this once, peradventure, 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. So the Lord said, if it's 10 righteous people inside him, he's not going to destroy it, man. What happened? And the Lord went, and Yahweh went his way as soon as he left communing with Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place. So Abraham couldn't go no lower, man. Okay, so now we going to the doom of Sodom. Let's see. This might be the longer chapter because it's talking about Sodom and Gomorrah. It's a little bit longer, but it's not as long as I thought it was. So I don't think 20 is that long. But we're gonna read both of these chapters and then we're gonna wrap it up. We had an hour, so we may push a 2-hour mark in this video, but the word of the Lord getting out. We're gonna continue on though. It's Genesis 19:1, and now Genesis is a lot of common knowledge. It's really in Genesis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And a little bit after that is kind of hard to be understood. But when you get into Genesis and you have the understanding of the rest of the Bible, it's easy to be understood. So this is Genesis 19:1, and there came 2 angels, right? These are 2 angels, man. And that's why the Lord said he's going to search for it, because the angels do the work of the Lord. We got to understand that. To Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. So Lot was chilling at the gate, and Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. He bowed himself to the face towards the ground. So Lot bowed to the angels, man, because he knew they were of the Most High, right? And he said, behold, now my lords, and turn in, I pray thee. So let's go to this lords, right? Adawan. You know how I was going into yesterday, how when the Lord, they talk about the Most High God, Adonai. So he even knew that the angels of the Lord were not the Most High God, right? It's a difference, right? Lord, master, Lord, owner, sir, firm, strong, Lord, master, reference to men, superintendent of household, of affairs, master, king, reference to God, the Lord God, right? Lord of all, the whole earth, right? So this is not talking about the Most High God. It can be used in reference to the Most High God, but typically when they say Lord like this, it's not talking about the Most High God, man. It's talking about angels, man. So it says, and he said, "Behold, now my lords, turn in, I pray you, to your servant's house, Salakia, and tarry all night and wash your feet, and ye shall raise up early and go on your ways." And they said, "Nay, but we will abide in the street all night." And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him and entered his house, and he made them a feast and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. So when it says they was gonna chill in the streets, but the people was pressing on them, man. They was like, "Ooh, look at you. We gonna try and have you." Sodomy, man. Wickedness, man. So we're gonna continue on, right? It says, but before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, can pass the house round about, both old and young, and all the people from every quarter. So they was trying to break in the house, man, right? And can pass around a house round about. So they like, yo, they surrounded the house, man. And it was at the point, man, we know that they was trying to get in that house, man. Right? They wanted the angels, man. Right? And they called unto Lot and said unto him, "Where are the men?" Ayash. So that is man by biblical definition. Ayash, right? And it says man, men, one, husband, any. Right? So they didn't perceive these angels to be men, right? Let's see here. I'm just looking to see if it says angel, right? And that same champion here is the same one, if I'm not mistaken, in Genesis when Israel fought against the angel, right? Let's just go here. I know I'm getting a little bit too far off in a tangent, right? Okay, hold on, hold on. I'm not sure. We're not gonna go and find it. But if I'm not mistaken, that's talking about the same way as the angel that fought with Jacob to change his name into Israel. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that. I should say, right. And went out, looked up, Salakia, and Lot went out the door unto them, went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, "I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly." So it's like, yo, y'all, come on, bro, don't do this wicked ass stuff, man. Calm down, man. Right? Behold, now I have two daughters. He said, "Look, I got virgins. I got two daughters, man." He said, "Behold, I have two daughters which have not known man." He said, "Look, they never had sex, man. This is prime women right here, man. Right? A virgin is the best thing you could have, man. I don't care if you say that that's sexist, whatever or whatever, man. A virgin is the height of a woman's chastity, the height of woman being respected, man, the height of everything, man. Right? And even if men do act wickedly with virgins, man, that is not saying that that's lessening the woman, man. When a man can't control his urges, man, that's a wicked ass man. But that don't lessen the woman, right? Well, a virgin is the best woman you can have, right? And if a woman cries out in a time that she's being raped, it don't negate her properties, man. But the one that's gonna be like, ooh, let's do our thing, whatever the case is, then she gonna have to do what she gotta do and stay with that man, right? Feel what I'm saying? So it's something to it, man. You got to understand it, right? But that's going into the law. We're gonna get to that eventually, right? And they said, stand back, and they said again, this one fellow came into sojourn, and he needs to be a judge. Now we will deal worse with thee than with them, right? So he says, look, man, get back, man. I don't want these women, man. He said, now we see they a judge, man. Now we gonna deal worse with you than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and they came to break the door. So they was trying to break down the came near to break the door. So they was trying to break the door down. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut the door. So you know what was supposed to be happening here, right? They're supposed to be looking for 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 righteous men. But they couldn't even go look for them, right? these men were so wicked that they were just trying to rape the angels, right? And it says, and they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness. So these how we know that this ain't no regular men. They blinded the men, right? And it says both small and great. And this is easy to be understood when you understand that the angels can shapeshift, right? They could take on the appearance of man. They could take on the appearance of how they look in the chariots. They could take on many appearances, man. Right? And let me get this right. Salakia. Good thing that's popped up quick, man. They know about this, man. Because people don't understand the scripture, so that a lot of people would just be like, oh yeah, I think I was entertaining an angel. Right? Okay, so right, so this is Hebrews 13:2. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers. So right, for thereby some have entertained on angels unaware. So we never know if some men walking up and down the streets are angels, man. Right? We never know if some men picking out the garbage can and you might have $1 in your pocket and your spirit might be like, look, just help them. Give them $1, man. The spirit might be calling you to get a good report with the Lord, man. And you looking, you like, nah, I ain't helping no bum. He probably just trying to go get some money for some drugs, right? And I don't want to boast of my affairs or my alms, right? I'm not trying to, but when I typically give to a homeless person, the first thing I'm asking is, what do you need it for, right? Because if somebody's saying they need food and they really need food, I'd be like, all right, I got you. Let's go get some food. Let's go inside the store or wherever it is, man. Like you cool with me? How long you gonna be here? You cool with me coming back and give you some food? Right? That's usually how it goes, man. Right? And then this is helping the angels unaware if it's the case, man. Right? So we gotta understand that these angels, man, they take on a form of man, right? And we can see that through the scriptures, right? We entertain angels unaware because they don't always look as angels, man, right? But this is Genesis 19:11, and they smote the men that are at the door. Okay, so verse 12, the men said unto Lot, hast thou here any besides son-in-law and thy sons and thy daughters and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out this place. So the Lord, they said, the men or the angels said unto Lot, right? You got anybody else by you? Anybody with you, right? The son, the daughters, the wife, everybody, bring them out the city and let's go, right? We leave it, right? For we will destroy this place, right? This place has got to go, right? And because thy cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord, Yahweh, and Yahweh hath sent us to destroy it, right? So let's see here, right? We're going back to this here, right? Not where we was at, but Revelation 18 uh and 2. It says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon is the great is fallen and has become the habitations of devils. So the cry is reaching up to the heavens, man. Right, and the hold of every fallen spirit and cage of every unclean and hateful bird. This is the same as Sodom and Gomorrah, man. Right, the cries are going up, man. Right, and it says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, this is what the angels typically were saying, kind of, man. This is a foreshadowing of Sodom and Gomorrah is a foreshadowing of Revelation 18 in a sense, right? Not necessarily, but they go hand in hand in a sense, right? Because we see the same way that the angels told them to get out of there, the angel or the voice from heaven is saying this, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins and ye receive not of her plague. So he was like, look, um, it says, bring them out this place, man. Come out of her, my people, right? Bring your people, your son-in-law and thy sons and thy daughters. He said, bring them out this place, man, right? For we will destroy this place, right? So he was warning them, right? And it says, because the cry of them is waxing great. So the cry, we heard it. We've seen what the cry was. Not in this here, but in Revelation 18, we see what the cry was. So it's similar, right? And it says, waxing great before the face of Yahweh. Yahweh has sent us to destroy it. So the Lord sent the angels to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, up, get you out of this place, for Yahweh will destroy the city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. So the sons-in-law thought he was mocking them, man. And when the morning arose, and the angel hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city, right? And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand and upon the hand of his wife and upon his two daughters, and Yahweh being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and sent him without the city. So he was stagnant, man. He was kind of like his wife, man. But the angels had to take them out, man, because they were righteous, man. And the Lord didn't want them to be destroyed with the city, man. Right? And it says, and it came to pass when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, so they took them far away pretty much. That he said, escape for thy life, look not behind thee. So they was like, look, don't look behind you, man, run. Right? Neither stay thou in all the plain, escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed, right? And this is rightful disputation here, man, because Lot said unto them, not so, my lord. So he's like, nah, I can't do that, right? He said, behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. So he said, look, you showed me mercy by saving my mouth. I cannot escape to the mountain, though, right? He said he can't do it, lest some evil take me and I die. So he's like, look, man, I might die by the hands of an animal or something, man, right? Being a punk, man, but he did say that, man. He was trying to make it seem like he was genuine, man. But when the Lord is with you, no man could be against you, man, right? The Lord wanted him to come out there, right? Behold, now this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. It is not a little one, right? And this also goes into how he probably didn't want to go to the mountain, right? Because potentially Abraham was there, right? Not saying that Abraham was there, but potentially Abraham was there, and he was probably like, "Look, I'm gonna just abide over here. We already got too much. He got too much. Let's stay separate." That could be why he said that, but that's not expressly why the Bible is saying it, right? Continuing on, he said, behold, now the city is near to, okay, so verse 21, and he says, see, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also. I will not overthrow the city for the which has spoken, right? So he said, look, I'm not going to overthrow the city that you're going to go to. Go ahead, right? Haste thee, escape thither. So he said, look, run there, go now, right? For I cannot do anything till thou be come thither, right? Therefore, the name of that city was called Zor, right? So we've seen already in the precepts what Zoar is, right? We've seen that because it was already mentioned in the precepts, right? So we should be able to determine what that is, man. Right? I could go into that. Actually, I'm just going to go into the Hebrew word for Tazar, right? Tazawawar. Is it Tazawawar? Tazar, 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 that's an I, or Tazar. So significance, the city in the east of the Dead Sea group with Sodom and Gomorrah as being one of the 5 cities slated for destruction by God, spread out lives, place of refuge. It was another one, another mention. We probably could go right down here. King of Bela, which is Zor. So King of Bela, the same as Zor, right? So this is city was called Zor. So that's what it came down to, Bela or Zor, right? And I might be wrong. The king of Bela might not be the same as Zor, but well, it is the same, but it might not have been called Bela before. It might have just been called Zor, but it says here that the city was called Zor. So we see that, right? And it says in the sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered in Zor. And then Yahweh rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah, brimstone and fire from heaven, from Yahweh out of heaven, right? So we see that brimstone and fire rain down from heaven, from the Lord, right? And this, or from Yahweh, we see this is going to happen to America. That's why it's coined, right? Coined, C-O-I-N-E-D, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's coined Sodom and Egypt, man, right? Because Egypt faced destruction, Sodom faced destruction, right? And Egypt and Sodom also is attributes of it because it's a place of our servitude, and it's filled with sodomy, man.
right? So we got to understand that the Lord forementioned Sodom and Egypt as a sign of future judgment for America, man, right? And he overthrew those cities and all the plains and all the inhabitants of the city and that which grew upon the ground, right? But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt, man. This is also biblical foreshadowing of what's to come, man. Because if you lukewarm, the Lord ain't gonna deal with you, right? Um, Give me 1 second. I think it's three, but I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, so I thought it was Luke 3. It's Revelation 3. I knew it was the third chapter. It's the 16th verse. So this is Revelation 13 and 3 and 16. It says, actually we're gonna start here at 15, right? It says, I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would that thou wilt work cold or hot. So she was looking back. She was kind of cold, man, because she was considering going back, man, right? And it says, so then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my house. So she wasn't really wicked because the Lord spared her, but she contemplated by looking back. So her looking back is symbolizing that she was kind of lukewarm, man. She still wanted what was behind her when the Lord was showing her what was ahead of her, man. Right, and she still contemplated looking back, man. So this is this is the Lord just doing this thing, man. Right? Let me see. I just looking for something. It does say that we're gonna if you escape to the mountains unless you want to be consumed, man. Um, I'm just looking for something so I get. I'm just looking for something so I get so I get. All right. Yeah, it don't say anything. All right. So continuing on, verse 19, 20, or chapter 19, verse 27, it says, and Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before Yahweh. He looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the plain, and toward the land of all the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as smoke of a furnace. Right. So I'm not sure if in Revelation 18 it talks about the smoke, but let's find it really quick because we want to see if the smoke is ascending into heaven. So there's Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. I also want to see what that next one says. Hold on, wait. Let's see that next one. 1:18. Okay, so we're gonna read both of them, right? And this is Revelation chapter 18 and 8. It says, therefore her plague shall come shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is Yahweh of power, who judgeth her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, right? So this gonna burn. This gonna be what we see is the smoke of her burning, right? And then continuing on, right? This is our Revelation 18 and 17, it says, for in 1 hour so great riches come to naught, and every shipmaster and all company and ships and sailors, and many as trade by sea, stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? Right? Hold on. Let me just see. I don't Yeah, it's not in there. All right. I just wanted to make sure, right? I gotta always make sure, right? So continuing on here, we're gonna see America burn like a smoke in a furnace, and that's how we see Sodom and Gomorrah burning, right? America gonna be similar in nature, right? In verse 29, it says, in Genesis 19:29, it says, and it came to pass when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out to the midst of the overthrown when he overthrew the cities and the which Lot through dwelt. So the Lord spared Lot
for Abraham's sake. He could have just destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, but he saved Lot and his two daughters, right? But come on, let's keep on going in verse 30, right? We're gonna see some stuff, right? But let's go. It says, and Lot went up out of Zor and dwelt in the mountain, and his two daughters with him, for he filled to dwell in Zor, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his two daughters. So this man was a little scaredy cat, man. Lot is a little punk. I don't care what nobody say, man. Lot is a punk. He ain't giving no oracles of God. He ain't the covenant ain't established with him. Call all y'all thank the Most High, it ain't established with him. Right? The Lord chose to do it with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and us as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we got that, man. Right? Through the grace and power of the Most High, man. Right? But we wouldn't have wanted this man to be the father of the receiver of the covenants, man. Right? And his firstborn said unto the younger. So these two virgin girls, man, they should have just went with the damn people of Sodom, man, at this point. But they said, our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. So they said, look, we need a man to come in our father's seed line, right? And we see this ideology in Numbers 118, how it says he established our tribes by the seed of our father, right? The number of their poles from 18 years old and upwards, and determine the tribe by the seed, their heritage by the seed of their father, right? So we understand that the father and the son carry the seed, right? So they will have some wicked ass idea though, and we're gonna continue on. I hate how the two daughters was dealing, man. It's wicked as hell, man. Why would daughters want to do this to their father? Makes no sense, but Esau does it all the time, man. Right? But this is Genesis 19:32. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. They said they're gonna sleep with their dad so they can preserve his seed. Wicked as hell, man. That's why the Lord did what he did to them, man. But we're gonna continue on, and they made their father drink wine that night, that the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she laid down, nor when she arose. So he was so drunk that he ain't even know that he lay with his own daughter, man. Right? But still, man, that's crazy, man. To even think that something like this could happen, man. But it happened, man. That's why we have what we have today, man. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, behold, I lay yesterday with my father. Let us make drink wine. This night also go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father, right? And they made the father drink that wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down or when she arose. Thus were both daughters of Lot with child by their father. Ew, disgusting. All right, let's go into this real quick, right? Because this is crazy, man. We're not gonna go into just the two daughters yet, but we're gonna go after the doings of the manner of Egypt. It's not Leviticus 19. Is it? It gotta be Leviticus 19, right? Okay, let's find it. Egypt. It's either Leviticus 18. So it's 18 Salakia. Right? Leviticus 18, right? I did go on this before, but I guess I gotta do it again, right? Okay. Leviticus 18:7, the nakedness of thy father. They saw the nakedness of thy father, man. This is why we don't do it. Or the nakedness of thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover, she is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. So we shouldn't be doing this right here, man. Right? So we see that, right? But continuing on, and the firstborn bare a son and called his name Moab. The same as the father of the Moabites unto this day, right? And the younger she bare also the younger she also bare a son and called his name Benami, the same as the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. So through Abraham is his seed called. So these two cannot even be accepted if they wanted to. But it's better that we had that established, man. Right? I'm gonna get this, man. I know this off of our heart, man. I know this by heart because I was just going in with the Edomite or some person on Twitter the other day about this here, man. Right? Because they say thou shalt not abhor an Edomite in verse 7, or thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, right? Some people say that this Edomite, which has some stance, man, is a Syrian, man, right? And that's it got some stance. I'm not gonna say it is or it isn't wrong, man. It got some weight, man, right? But we're gonna go to where it's talking about Ammonite and Moabites, right? So what do it say about them? We're gonna have to start at verse 2 to see what it is, man, right? So it says, a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh, even to his 10th generation shall he and not enter into the congregation of the Lord. This word in Hebrew is mamzer, right? Which means let's get that right. Let's go to BLB. Let's share this tab real quick. How did this happen, man? Right? I hate this. Can't go back in there like that, right? I was there. Let's search it. Press enter. I gotta figure out what button I'm pressing. I keep on making this tab open up in another screen, right? But let's get that word for do bastard, mamzer, mom, mom, mam, tazar, mam tazar, mam tazar, right? Bastard, child of incest, illegitimate child, bastard, mixed population, born of a Jewish father and Hebrew mother. That's actually not fact. This is never called a bastard in the Hebrew, man. David was not considered a mamzer, man. David had a heathen mother, right? And he through him was the chosen established, right? Through him was the only begotten established, right? Jesus, Yahweh Mashiach, was born through what this definition of a bastard is. And it says that a bastard shall not enter into the congregation, even until a certain number, right? So we know that that's not talking about that last one because Yahweh Shai, right? It says a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter in the congregation of Yahweh. So this says never can a bastard, which would fit more so Ammon and Moab, right? Because their mothers laid with their father to make the nations, right? So they are a bastard nation, man. But continuing on, an Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh, even to their 10th generation, even to his 10th generation, even to their 10th generation shall they not enter the congregation of Yahweh forever, right? So if the kingdom is for everybody, right? If the kingdom of heaven is for everybody, the Ammonites and the Moabites are not, it's not for them, nor is it for the children of Canaan, because they saw the nakedness of their father, right? That's how big of a deal the Lord is having with these seeing the nakedness of your father, man. So we see that here that they is not going to enter into the kingdom because they're bastards, man, or illegitimate children or children of incest, man. This is a shorter chapter, so I guess I was mistaken, right? The longest one was 19, but it wasn't no 54 verses like I assumed. Right? I never said how many I thought it was, but that's what I was thinking I was about to be reading in 19 is about 50 chapters, right? But that's rather here nor there, right? Getting ready to wind down with this video, man. I'm about to get this last chapter. And it's not really too much into this chapter, if I'm not mistaken, right? From what I know, it's a pretty straightforward, easy chapter, right? It just talks about how they were when they were dealing with the Canaanites, man. Ain't no real difference, man. So we're gonna see the same thing kind of again, and I'm not going to explain it a second time why Abraham did it. If you want to check it out, we could go to um, the fourth part of this series that I'm doing to see why Abraham did that under my understanding, right? And if you want to go into that and tell me I'm wrong, go ahead, man. I'm not opposed to correction. Nobody is above correction, man. That's how it should always be, right? So yeah, that's gonna be the conclusion of it, man. And hopefully this video is edifying. So this is at Genesis 20:1. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said, Sarah his wife, she is my sister, and Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. And God, oh, Salakia, my bad. And God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, Behold, thou art but a dead man for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. So it was told to Abimelech by dream, and Abimelech had not come near her, so he didn't even touch her really. And he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? Right? Said he not unto her me, she is my sister, and she herself said, he is my brother, and the integrity of my heart and in innocency of my hands have I done this, right? And God said to him in a dream, yea, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart, for also I withheld thee from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I not to touch her. So the Lord made it so that he didn't even touch her, right? He could have touched her, but the Lord was like, nah, I suffer you not to do this, right? I made it so you didn't do it, right? He didn't have a control over himself, right? Right? Because Sarah was a beautiful woman, right? Sarah was fair, right? Let me see. I'm just trying to look for where it says Sarai was fair. So we want to see Genesis 12 and 11, and it says, I'm not getting it on the screen, I'm reading it off my phone. And it came to pass when he come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai, his wife, Behold, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. So Abraham said, Look, you bad. You know what I mean? That's just lying, so you don't get killed, right? That's Abimelech knew that she was bad, man. But the Lord put the spirit on him not to touch her, man. Right, and that often happens in life, man. If I could attest to this, man. My first courtship was something like that, man. Most beautiful woman I've courted in the truth, man. Right. But when I went to Louisiana to meet her, I didn't touch her. I didn't lay with her. I was touching her, but the spirit came over me not to lay with her, not to make her my wife. We was courting for 6 months at this time, man. And for some reason, I didn't touch her. I get back home, demons started popping out, man. And if I would have laid it with her in Louisiana, I would have had to move her up to my state, and then she would have been my rib. But I chose not to, man. Even though she pressed upon me, man, she pressed forth with it, man. So therefore, we gotta understand that sometimes the Lord put the spirit on you, right, to not touch some people or not deal with some people, so that you can see the evil in them, man, and you could save your own soul, man. Right now, therefore, restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, know thou that thou shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine. So he said, look, if you touch her, if you lay with her, I'm gonna kill you, man. Right, and it says, therefore, Abimelech rose early in the morning and called his servants and told all these things in their ears, and the men were sore afraid, so they were scared. Right, you heard in a dream, I'm gonna die if I don't leave this woman alone. Oh hell no, let me leave this woman alone, man. And dreams of this time held a lot more weight than dreams of now, man. Right, sometimes the Bible says dreams are vain. Right, let me get that really quick. Aiken. It's in Sirach. I knew it was in the Apocrypha, right? So this Sirach 4 and 5. Divinations and soothsayings and dreams are vain, and the heart fancieth a woman as a woman's heart in travail, man. So it's saying, look, man, you're gonna desire to have these dreams, man. You like the dreams, man, but it's vain, man. Smooth sayers and what it say? Smooth sayers and divinations, man. People who seek the times and people who try and read tarot cards, so on and so forth, vain, and also dreams, right? So, like I was saying, dreams of old held weight, but not like today. That's why I said that, to not misconstrue anything. These dreams did hold weight. This is not to negate that these dreams held weight, because the Lord was firm with it, man. That's why he told us you're going to die, man, if you don't let her go, right? But continuing on, right, therefore, okay, and they were sore afraid. That's why they were afraid, man. And then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, What hast thou done unto us? What have I offended thee that thou hast brought unto me thy Slakia, brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin. Thou hast done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. Right? All praises, man. See, man, when you in the spirit, you're gonna keep on going in the spirit, man, to keep the book, keep the word going, man. I thought I was looking at 4:30, 5 o'clock, man. It's 5:48, man. That I've been going with the spirit, man. That's why I do these Torah series, man, because it keeps me going. It don't stop, man. Even yesterday when I did the hour and a half video, man, I was kind of wanting to do more, but I knew that this part of the series had to be all put together, man. I knew I had to yield at where I left because Genesis 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 are great for one part of the series because we see how the called is chosen, or how we are called through Abraham. We see how that even though through Eber the Ammonites and Moabites were not called, right? And then we see how they cannot get into the kingdom due to their incest with their father, right? And then we see that Ishmael was blessed and a great nation, but he still wasn't chosen, man, right? It was through Isaac, which we're going to see in this next part, Lord willing, Yahweh Ratazah, man. We're going to see that through Isaac is he called, man. Through Isaac do we get the blessing. Through Isaac we get the covenant, man. And then we're going to start getting into Jacob, man, and Ishmael, or Jacob and Esau, man. And then we're going to get into the Israelites, man, and a few parts after that, man. But we need this first, man. We need to get the covenant. We need to see why it was established. We need to see why the Lord dealt with Abraham, man. So nigh, and he was a friend of the Lord, man, because he served him, man. We see on all these chapters that he served the Lord, man. In verse 11, it says, and Abraham said, because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. So he said, look, I didn't think y'all had respect unto the Most High God, right? I just had seen Sodom and Gomorrah being destroyed for their wickedness, man. It's not that hard to believe that everybody don't believe in God in this time, man. We didn't think y'all we didn't think God was dealing with y'all, man, right? But the Most High, he dealt with Abimelech, man, right? And if you want to get technical with this, man, right? The Lord was dealing with Abimelech, right? But Abimelech was not a nation, man, right? The Lord dealt with many people prior to the Israelites, and he dealt with people during the time of Israelites that weren't Israelites, man, right? So the Lord spoken to many people, man. But the Lord does not reveal prophecy to nobody, right? The prophecy is revealed unto Israel, man, right? So we got to understand, yeah, the Lord might deal with them, but he's not dealing with them to save them, man, right? This is not salvation for Abimelech, man, right? Yes, he was saved from destruction, man, because the Lord told him, yo, look, I ain't going to make you touch her. I ain't going to make you touch her. The Lord stopped him, man. So how's this ain't salvation, though, man? Is he going to be in the kingdom of heaven? What's the kingdom of heaven? Salvation, man. But also the kingdom of heaven is not expressly salvation, man. Because in the kingdom, some people going to be born in the kingdom. Is they saved? No, they born into a state of freedom. They don't need to be saved if you're free. Right now, we are bondmen and bond servants. If I try and okay, so I'm on the border of Canada, here where I'm at, right? If I try and walk into Canada, right, without a passport, without an enhanced identification, whatever the case is, if I just try and scroll into Canada undocumented, right? And then I just say, yo, look, I ain't listening to y'all. I'm going to this country, man. I have free realm to go wherever I want. They're going to stop me and probably arrest me, man. Right? I'm probably going to get deported back to America, get charged with this, that, and the third, and then I will never be able to go back into Canada again. Right? That's how it works. So these people are not being saved. We need to be saved because we don't have free realm. The earth is not our possession yet, man. Right? The earth wasn't Abimelech's possession, man. The earth will not be the heathen's possession, man. Right? The heathen not gonna get the heathen as the possession or an heritage, man. Right? That's for us, man. So we gotta know that this is not salvation, man. I've seen somebody say that this is salvation. Even Chat GPT, which I went to, right? I did a video. I want to do a video with Chat GPT and explain or just go on one random topic and then see what they give me, right? And then eventually end up to chat GPT explaining the truth, right? But when I went to chat GPT, they said Embellic was saved, man. He was not saved at all. There's no way that he was saved, right? Embellic said unto Abraham, what sawest thou that thou hast done this thing? And Abraham said, because I thought surely the fear of God was not in this place, and they shall slay me for my wife's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. So he's like, look, I'm not lying, but right? And it says, because father, that I don't know, I'm not too sure, but father, meaning forefathers, they have the same forefathers, but it is what it is, man, right? And it says, and it came to pass when God caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, right, this is my kindness which thou show unto me at every place whither we shall come. Say of me, he is my brother. And Bela took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants and gave them to Abraham, and then restored him Sarah his wife. And then Belek said, behold, my land is before thee, dwell where it pleases thee. So he said, look, you got wherever you want in here, man. Do what you want. I'm gonna give you goats, lambs, rams, everything, man. Come on, man. He's like, look, we got you, bro. Sheep, oxen, men, women. Yo, you gonna be good, man. It's like somebody coming out of jail, man, and one of your man's pop, man. Right? The Lord almost took Embellic away, man. Embellic was so rejoiced and glad that the Lord didn't do that. That he's like, look, Abraham, here you go. Yo, you ain't got to worry about that, man. We good. Take men, take oxen, take sheep, take whatever. We good. I ain't got no problem with you, man. Right? He said, wherever you want, my land is before thee. Dwell where it pleases thee. So go wherever you want in this land. It's for you, man. Right? And Sarah, and unto Sarah he said, behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver. So he gave him 1,000 pieces of silver, man. Right? That's a lot of change, man. Behold, he is to thee a covering of the eyes unto all that are with thee, and with all other, thus she was reproved, right? Verse 17, it says, so Abraham prayed unto the Most High, and the Most High healed Abimelech and his wife and his maid servants, and they bare children. So he prayed, and the Lord blessed them, right? Abraham did, right? And it says, for Yahweh had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. So we want to get into this in the next part. I didn't know that Genesis 21 was going into Isaac. I can't say that I knew for certainty that this is where I was going to end up, but I knew that I had to get those 4 chapters together. So that's the spirit that I'm ending right here, because I wouldn't have had any understanding. I mean, not that I wouldn't have had any understanding, but I wouldn't have known that Genesis 21 is about Isaac unless I got there, man. Right? I just knew that I had to get I knew I had to get Genesis 18 or 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Those 5 chapters is important to have together. So we see why it's important. Hopefully, Yahweh why it's important to put those chapters together, man. So with that, man, I want to say shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah. AGA till we see the day.